A slew of COVID-19 misinformation has been going viral on social media.
Pandemic conspiracy theory now floating about which alleges that coronavirus
COVID-19 has created the kind of perfect storm for conspiracy theories.
Are calling on social media companies to do more to stop the disinformation from spreading.
we're now calling an infodemic.
Hello, I'm Richard Gisbert, and you're watching The Listening Post, working from home. Here are the coronavirus stories, the media elements that we're looking at this week. The human-to-human transmission of conspiracy theories around COVID-19. Why is it that so many Americans actually believe them? The family behind Fiat Automobiles now controls one of Italy's largest newspapers, and La Repubblica has taken a turn to the right. Homeschooling in Peru. Broadcasters are learning new skills. They're teaching. And a public service announcement that urges Yemenis to keep their social distance. At a time that Muslims traditionally come together. What makes reporting this pandemic so challenging is that so much is still unknown. Often the way in which data is collected and interpreted is inherently flawed. Scientists are guiding politicians and journalists, but there is no authoritative scientific consensus. Even the origin of the virus is still being investigated. Throw in all the economic pain caused by the lockdowns, the heavy-handed policies of governments, and the result, in the masses, can be feelings of fear, anxiety, and powerlessness. Perfect conditions for misinformation to thrive and conspiracy theories to grow. The U.S. is ground zero for most of those theories, not just because the president and outlets like Fox News have long trafficked in them. There's a market there for conspiracy theories, one that can turn an obscure filmmaker and a discredited scientist into internet sensations. Our starting point this week is the place conspiracies go viral, the World Wide Web.
Virus and bacteria, end of story.
Wearing the mask literally activates your own virus. You're getting sick from your own reactivated coronavirus expressions.
Don't believe her. Far too many people already do. If they handed out Academy Awards for Best Performance by a discredited scientist in a conspiracy theory video, Judy Mikovits from Plandemic would win, hands down.
It's very clear this family of viruses was manipulated and studied in a laboratory.
Never mind that there's no actual evidence of that. The story that Mikovits weaves, accusing members of so-called global elites like Bill Gates and Dr. Anthony Fauci of conspiring to profit from an eventual vaccine, has been viewed, believed, and reposted by millions. The film is the viral sensation of COVID-19 conspiracy theories.
And they'll kill millions, as they already have with their vaccines.
Again, zero evidence.
At first glance, it looks like a network news broadcast. It's very slickly produced, and she's presented as sort of this brave, truth-telling doctor.
For exposing their deadly secrets, the minions of Big Pharma waged war on Dr. Mikovits, destroying her good name, career, and personal life.
In reality, she's kind of this discredited doctor who has had her research retracted, but it was really embraced by various conspiracy theory groups that have strong networks on Facebook that can boost these videos, like anti-vaccine groups and these QAnon conspiracy theorists, this pro-Trump conspiracy.
They knew that their video was going to trip the terms of service on YouTube, and that YouTube and other platforms were going to take it down for health misinfo. So what they did, they created a website with a downloadable video on it and urged everyday people to re-upload it to their own social media. And this kind of networked amplification as a tactic churned the viralness of the video up quite a bit, and we saw it move across platforms rather quickly.
For decades here in this country, experts, scientists, and educators have been under attack for political and social purposes.
You know, the planet renews itself, and I just am doubtful that man is causing the warming.
And whenever you have that situation, a lack of public faith, that's when conspiracy theories fill that vacuum. In this case, we have a lot of different news outlets that have understood that there is an economic benefit to pushing conspiracy theories. Certainly Fox News has sort of laid the groundwork for that.
Fox is getting some help in that respect, specifically from two online outlets, Epoch Times
Chinese communism is evil,
and One American News, or OAN,
mounting evidence of a globalist conspiracy
which are even more right-wing and pro-Donald Trump than Rupert Murdoch's channel is. On COVID-19, they have outfoxed the competition.
Now, emerging reports suggest further links between China and anti-Trump groups in the U.S.
Fox takes a more measured approach to misinformation and alleged conspiracies. During the day, it sticks closer to the news. Primetime evening broadcasts are where the network's true colors are on display, when opinion mongers like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson do their thing.
Certain people would like to use this moment to elevate themselves and crush you.
That's where the ratings are and where the money is.
For the past couple of years, Fox News has really sort of promoted these various conspiracy theories about the U.S. government.
The Democratic Party, the media mob, the deep state, they have been plotting their revenge.
That manifests itself in people not believing the death count or thinking that Fauci is this sort of villain out to undermine Trump.
Is this the guy into whom you want to vest all of your trust? Is this the guy you want to chart the future of the country?
So there's really this dialogue between fringe groups on the internet and Fox News, even if Fox News isn't coming out and saying, you know, something as outlandish as people on the internet might be.
It isn't just right-leaning media that does it. I mean, there are people believing conspiracy theories across the political spectrum, but a lot of right-leaning media have engaged in certain forms of coronavirus conspiracy theories, pushing the idea that the virus has had its effects exaggerated.
You have been led to believe that every hospital is overflowing, that dead bodies are in body bags and refrigerated trucks that are being parked off to landfills or whatever.
The internet provides conspiracy theories with the means to spread, largely unchecked.
9/11 was a false flag operation intended to authorize the doctrines and funds needed for a new level of imperial mobilization.
Such theories offer what are known as self-sealing narratives. Tell a believer their theory is unproven, they'll say the real truth is being hidden. USA! Present documented evidence contrary to their beliefs, and they will come back with the authorities cannot be trusted to tell the truth.
Let the healthy go back to work!
The COVID-19 story, which bridges the worlds of politics and medical science, institutions many Americans already view with suspicion, and adds a foreign Chinese angle, has all the basic elements many conspiracy theorists are looking for in an increasingly complex world.
Conspiracy theories arise whenever a complicated issue is replaced by a simplified answer.
This is about gaining control over the human race and limiting population. Limiting population with a virus that was created in a lab.
And so in this case, we have a lot of problems economically, politically, socially. The idea of globalism as being a problem around the world. These are really, really complicated things.
It's not a conspiracy, it's fact.
And a conspiracy theory comes in and just very simply replaces all of that complexity and says there are people who are against you and there are people who are plotting against you.
The mental processes for many conspiracy theorists are not that different than the processes for everyone else. Trying to make sense of a chaotic world. It's just the problem is that they have a worldview in which conspiracies are likely explanations for events and circumstances, in which the mainstream media is often lying or covering things up. And they often turn to fringe outlets of information, getting exposed to ideas that are largely conspiratorial.
But by and large, the way in which people start to encounter health misinformation is because someone in one of their networks has shared it, or you'll be watching a news video on YouTube and then an algorithm has seen that you're interested in what's very contemporary about COVID-19, and it gives you something that's from a popular conspiracy type channel.
Donald Trump is America's conspiracist in chief. He pushed dubious theories about Barack Obama long before Trump became president.
Why doesn't he show the birth certificate?
And he has been preaching about the dangers of the deep state ever since. In that respect, Trump is a leader for these times.
Donald Trump uses conspiracy theories strategically. And what we found when we polled people during the 2016 presidential primaries was that he was attracting a different kind of Republican than were other more mainstream candidates, people who already are disposed to conspiratorial thinking. And he keeps them in his coalition by constantly feeding them conspiracy theories and constantly acting as if he and them are under threat by powerful forces.
It's when the conspiratorially minded come up against the rest of society that the issues arise. The confrontations between the right-to-work crowd and frontline workers. A conflict Judy Mikovits describes accurately in Plandemic, if not intentionally.
It's beyond comprehension how a society can be so fooled that the types of propaganda continue to where they're just driving us to hate each other.
And to disbelieve each other, to the extent that if and when a vaccine is finally available, a lot of people will turn it down.
There's a real risk here. We have a large swath of Americans who will not take this vaccine. You see this not only among the anti-vaccination people, but of course among people who believe things like Obamagate and the New World Order conspiracy and Plandemic. And unfortunately, it's going to hinder the fight against the pandemic, and it's going to cause real damage.
That would be the message to any conspiracy theorist who happens to be tuning in, that your unproven beliefs could cost you your life and cost others theirs. But then, you're watching this on the mainstream news media, and we would say that, wouldn't we?